started. What we are going to deal with today are these things called rational exponents. Again, this is page 12 in the notes section. Yeah, that was supposed to be there a while ago. Okay. Page 12, section 6.3. Rational exponents. Rational numbers, if you remember from the beginning of the year, those were fractions. This whole section is about how we evaluate numbers where the powers are fractions. Have you seen fractions as powers before? A few of you are nodding. Okay. And if you're not, that's totally fine. We need to figure out what these things mean. We are going to start off by using the calculator just to get a sense of what's going on, but then we're going to kind of put the calculators away and do a lot of this stuff by hand. 9 raised to the 1/2. I would like you to go to your calculator and type that in. However, we need to be a little careful how we type it in. You need to type this in as 9 raised to the, in parentheses, 1/2. And let's figure out what that is in the calculator. A 1/2 power. What's 9 to the 1/2? 3. Okay. Not sure. Go do your 8 to the 1/3 on the calculator, and then we'll see if we can figure out what is actually happening here, and how can we do these then without. All over 8 to the 1/3? 2. Nine to the 1/2 was 3. 8 to the 1/3 is 2. Nihal, what do you want to say?
As we did before with our problems, it's just the roots that are...
Ah. So, like a 1/2 power is like what sort of root? Square root. And a 1/3 power is like what sort of root? Ah. And this is why we're looking at this in this unit. Fraction powers are really just roots. If I want to do x to the 1 over n, this is like saying the nth root of x. Fraction powers, as long as the numerator is just 1, are just roots. So, we're not going to use the calculator now for the next couple things. When we eventually do have a quiz on this and a test on this stuff, this part will be without a calculator, because I want to see, okay, obviously you know how to type things in. I want to see if we can kind of think about doing these things using roots. 125 to the 1/3. Well, what sort of root am I asking you to do in that problem? Cube roots. This problem is really the cube root of 125. And when you go to do the homework to kind of prove to me that you're not just typing things into the calculator, I want you to show me it rewritten as the cube root of 125. Jackson, what is that? Okay, that is 125. So what is the cube root of 125? Single number, which you were just kind of dancing around a moment. Just 5. What cubed is 125? 5 is your answer.
So, write down.
Show me cube root of 125, and then tell me 5. Okay. That's the final answer, and this is how you're thinking about it, how you're going to get it. That's what I'm looking for. When I make you do these, they will always be like nice numbers, and realize there's only like so many options for answers, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I think we can kind of figure these out. Now, 32 to the 1/5. What sort of root am I asking for there? 5th root. This problem is the 5th root of 32. See if you can figure that out without a calculator in your head. Again, just sort of realizing there's only so many options it could be. What number times itself times itself times itself times itself gives you 32? Can you nod your head if you think you're there? I'm going to count to 3. You're going to say the answer. Let me get my answer. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 2. Yeah, the 5th root of 32 is 2. Again, remember, there's only so many options for these things. Let me try 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Times 2 is 8. Times 2 is 16. Times 2, is 32. 5th root of 32 is 2. Negative powers. How do you deal with a negative power? What do you remember? Nihal.
You just consider it as 6 to the negative 1, and then flip it.
Okay, that's the idea. I don't like negative powers. I never want to deal with negative powers. If I have a negative power, I'm going to get rid of it by moving where it shows up. So I'm not really going to do this problem. Instead, how about I do 1 over 16 to the 1/2. 16 to the 1/2 really means you should be thinking about what? Square root. This is 1 over the square root of 16. Finish that one off. I hope you said 1/4 for the answer there. You're never going to do a negative power. You're going to move it to the bottom of the fraction, and then just do your positive power. You go try letter D, and then we'll make these powers a little more complicated. Try letter D. Did not feel like doing that as written, so I'm going to rewrite it. Are you done with letter D? What do you have? 1/3, sure. The 4th root of 81. Again, remember, there's only so many options for the answer. Is it 2? Is it 3? Is it 4? It's going to be 3 over there, so you're going to get 1/3. Jackson.
Safe to assume that if you see 81
Yeah, and the deal is we're going to get like so used to certain numbers showing up that we're just going to kind of know some of these things. I'm not going to make you do like the 7th root of 2,300,000. They're going to be reasonable numbers. But honestly, that one, you don't know it? Okay, let's just check things. What is 3 to the 4th? Well, I know 3 times 3 is 9. Times 3 is 27. 27 times 3, yeah, it's going to give me 81. So you can always kind of go backwards to verify those things. Now, go to your calculator. I want you to do 4 to the 3/2. And again, you got to be careful how you type it in. 4 raised to the, in parentheses, 3/2. Give me a number. 8. I know the square root of 4 is 2. How can you take 2 and turn it into 8? Oliver. To the power of 3. And, oh, what do you know? I see a 3 over there. When you have a fraction power where the top is not 1, it's like there's actually 2 things happening. There's a root and there's a power. If I want to do x to the m over n, I'm going to do the nth root of my number, and then I'm going to raise my answer to the m power. Whoops, sorry, I'll move that up. The denominator tells me the type of root I'm going to take. The numerator tells me the power. Actually, there is another way I can do this as well. I could do my power first. I could do x raised to the m, and then take the nth root of my answer. But still, the numerator is the power, the denominator is the root. So, yes, 16 to the 3/4. If I'm going to try to use this new rule, well, the first version of it says I could do the 4th root of 16, and when I'm done, I can cube that. So we're going to try this without a calculator. 4th root of 16, 2. This problem is 2 to the 3rd. What's the answer? 8. There's another way we could have gotten there. Doesn't matter which one you do first, the root or the power. I could have also done the 4th root of 16 cubed. What's 16 cubed? Why are you not saying that right away? Oh, it's going to be a big number. Okay, fine. I guess I'm going to have to cheat and use the calculator on this one. 16 cubed, 4th root of 4,096. Do you know off the top of your head the 4th root of 4,096? That's the problem. If you did it, you're going to get 8. It's going to be the same answer. You're not going to have a calculator. What would you rather do, my first line or my second line? Thank you. Always do the root first because it's going to be so much easier. Letter B. You know what? You see if you can do letter B. Do your root first, and then do your power. I think it's going to be one of these. And then I'll do that. Remember, the numerator is the power, denominator is the root. I should be doing the cube root and then squaring it, I think. Are you done, Elias?
Yes.
What do you have?
Okay.
I like it. What's the cube root of 1,000? It's 10. What's 10 squared? 100. Letter C. And PJ, can we get that mask up, please? Letter C. I don't want to do it. How am I going to fix it? Move it to the bottom. We're never going to do negative powers. We're always going to move it instead. Ashley, what's the root? What's the power? 5th root or 6th root? 6. Yep, 6 is the type of root. And when we're done with that, we'll raise it to the 5th power. What do you think the 6th root of 64 is going to be? It's 2. But that's not the answer. I want 1 over 2 to the 5th. Well, what is 2 to the 5th? Just start multiplying 2's. Your answer is 1 over 32. Please go do letter D. Again, I'm not going to do it the way it's written. I'm going to go and do the fraction power thing. 1 over 27 to the 4/3. Anthony, are you done with letter D? What do you have? I like it. Cube root of 27 is 3, so 1 over 3 to the 4th. What's 3 to the 4th? 81. And I hope you're seeing, we just kind of keep seeing the same numbers over and over again, so hopefully we're going to kind of get used to, 3 to the 4th is 81, 3 cubed is 27, things like that.
1 over 81, right?
Oh, sorry, off the screen. 1 over 81. Anything here? Your homework tonight is going to start with you evaluating some of these. I need to see, so as part of your proof to me that you're doing this without a calculator, I need to see how you're rewriting the problem with roots and powers, and then go do your evaluating. When we do have a quiz on this, which I believe your calendar says would be Tuesday of next week, totally without a calculator. Next, page 13. Now we've got some variable things with fraction powers, and we want to sort of rewrite things in a different form, and this is really not a big deal. Radical form, radical, remember, is a fancy way of saying root. I want to rewrite x to the 1/7 as a problem that involves roots. Well, what root am I talking about here? 7th root. What is this? This is the 7th root of x. That is all that it's looking for you to do. Now, letter B, what root is it? The 5th root or the 8th root? 8th root. I could say this is the 8th root of y. And when I'm done with that, what should I do? Raise it to the 5th power, which is totally correct. However, I could also write it in like the other notation that says let's just do the power first, and the reason I'd want to do that is because then I don't need parentheses. I can say this is the 8th root of y to the 5th, and I think that's going to be our preferred way of dealing with the variables because I don't have parentheses. I don't want to do letter C right away. I want to get rid of my negative power, so I'm going to say 1 over z to the 3/5. Now you go from there. Go now, write this with a root and a power. Decide which number is the root, which is the power. Did you say 1 over the 5th root of z to the 3rd? Can you nod if you're kind of with me? Just so I get a sense of where we are. Maybe I don't have to teach you the next thing. This is going in the opposite direction. I give you the root, you give me the fraction powers. How about you see if you can figure that out? There is a tiny little trick with letter A, but see if you can figure that out, and see what you can do with A, B, and C. I'm giving you the root answer, you give me the fraction power answer. Thoughts on letter A? Aryin? X to the? 1/2. Oh, I didn't tell you the type of root, which means it's a square root. You're going to call that x to the 1/2. Good. Ethan, do you have letter B? And could you also just pull up that math, please? Good. Power is the numerator. Root is the denominator. Y to the 6 over 11. Good. Nihal.
I got C to the negative 8 divided by 3.
Good. If it was me, I'd do a little bit of work first. I'd say 1 over z to the 8/3, which I'm going to make z to the negative 8 over 3. Do you see how to convert the forms? Okay.